my long-term life goals is to visit as many national parks as possible. There are 11 national parks just here in Florida. And tonight we're gonna do something unique and special at Biscayne National Park. Tonight I have purchased a $15, very reasonably priced ticket for a Park After Dark event. This is an evening bay cruise. Biscayne National Park is unique in that a majority of the park is actually out on the water, in the water, under the water. It's a water-based park. I actually have to check in because it's 5. Oh, I don't have a watch on. It's 5 and the program starts at 5:30. So let's go get checked in and get on the boat. Alrighty, I'm all checked in. So the ticket says to check in at least half an hour before your scheduled boat trip. So this is scheduled for 5:30. I got here at 5, checked in, and I'm good to go. This right here is the boat we're gonna be boarding in about 15 minutes. They've got water on board for us. There's gonna be music. It is gonna be really, really cool. All right, everybody's boarded safely and we're getting ready to take off.
We're gonna forget all the worries for the next hour and we're just gonna enjoy this beautiful national park. Obviously an hour isn't a lot to show you too much of our park, so we do hope you will come down the line, right, and hopefully maybe take a longer trip with us. We have sailboats that we'd love to take you out on. We do snorkeling trips, paddleboarding trips. We also go to an island called Boca Chica that has a lighthouse on it, and we open it up for you and you can walk around, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Up ahead you can see Turkey Point. That's the power plant down here in South Florida. One of the best ways to make the most of these type of experiences, besides taking photos and enjoying them with your loved ones and families, talk to the captains, talk to the first mates, talk to park rangers, talk to the people who are leading these events, ask questions, and try to learn as much as you can, because the fact that the parks are offering these types of things, we want to show support for them, and you also want to make the most of them. Especially if you come out with your kids, this is a great way for kids to get hands-on experience of nature and see some wildlife. So I really think it's one of those things that's like good for families and people of all ages. We're also getting close to the sunset, so this is going to be spectacular. We've talked a little bit before on this channel and other videos about the importance of mangroves to our ecosystem here in South Florida and how they protect the land from hurricanes and erosion. One thing I did not know was that Biscayne National Park was first given monument status in the 60s by President Johnson, and later in the 80s was given national park status, which gives it much greater protection and is so important. And it's the reason that it remains in the condition that it's in today, for all of us to enjoy and to protect the ecosystem here. The water's so shallow here. In the spots where the sun is shining, you can see through to the bottom. It's so clear and beautiful. We're trying to keep our eyes peeled for sea turtles and dolphins and other wildlife that you'd commonly see out here. We started here at the visitor center, so like I was saying earlier, most of this park is out here on the water, and the only way to experience it is by boat. So these tours, if you're not a boat owner, you don't have a friend with a boat who can bring you out, are a great way to do it. And this is Boca Chica that we were talking about earlier. I think we'll do that for a future video. That sounds very cool. We kind of came up that way and now we're passing by. I have a really good view of Turkey Point from here as well. And lest I forget to mention, the vessel that we are on is called the Sawfish. We've gotten pretty far out, actually. It's so perfect. It's feeding time. We're hoping we see some dolphins and turtles. Nothing yet. It'd be a little hard to see them, but everybody's got their eyes peeled. Look at that sun up there. The nice wind is keeping us cool. Pretty grateful for this tarp up here right now because the sun is blasting, and even with the nice ocean wind, you want to be prepared. You want to have a hat, sunglasses, sunblock if you need that, whatever you need to protect yourself from those scorching rays. So now we're heading back into the park. We can see Turkey Point again. That's kind of our big landmark out here because the mangroves blend into the ocean. We got a great view out there. This is a very relaxing way to spend a Saturday afternoon. When you're out here, all your worries kind of melt away. This felt really nice. I needed this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Give you an idea of how shallow the water is out here. You can see these rocks right here, just about 5 feet or so. Look at this. Got some little seagulls out here relaxing on a little concrete square thing. Heading back into the park right there, we can see the structure of the visitor center standing out above the trees right there. Kind of looks like the top of the barnacle house, which we covered in an earlier video. It's definitely that time of year and that time of day when the mosquitoes are out in full force. So probably some like bug spray would have been smart, but what are you gonna do? Anywho, the tour is over. It was 1 hour of loveliness. Got to chat with some of my fellow passengers. I met a gentleman on board the boat who is here in town for the launch taking place on Monday. He'll be driving up to Kennedy Space Center to watch the SpaceX launch. I was actually planning to go to that launch because it was originally scheduled for today, but they moved it to Monday, as often happens with launches. So I'll be doing what I usually do, and that's watching it live on YouTube through the NASA feed. I see some people out on a nice sunset kayak ride. That looks really nice. We're gonna take a walk on this mangrove-lined walkway out here that supports hundreds of species and thousands of species, really, based on the hundreds that live here because of the food chain and the circle of life. Crab alert! There he is right there. Let's see if we can get in. There is a crab right there. See him? He's kind of half out of his hole right there. Oh, look at that. Let's see if he moves. He's holding perfectly still. He's probably waiting for some opportunity to eat something. Pretty cool. All these are crab holes, so at some point in the day, if you're quiet and you pick the right moment, you can see a ton of them. All around the park, there are picnic tables and benches strategically placed so that you get a great view of the bay. Just pure water as far as the eye can see. Well, alrighty folks, at 6:50 p.m. the park is long closed and it's time for us to get out of here. We were able to stay in the park past closing because of the Park After Dark program that we were part of, the boat tour that we just took. There are so many cool programs here at Biscayne National Park that you may or may not be aware of. You can find them all on their website. As I mentioned earlier, this is a national park and Florida has 11 national parks, and I will definitely be trying to visit all of them. And as I mentioned earlier, I will be trying to visit as many national parks in this great US of A as possible. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this national park nature adventure. It could have been a wildlife adventure, but all we saw was a crab, but that's okay. We still had a great time with our fellow humans and with the bay. If you're new to the Super Enthused channel, make sure you subscribe. I bring you weekly adventures. I try to focus on hidden gems, so even when I do theme parks, which I love and cover quite a lot, I try to bring you a unique perspective or some unique twist on things. I always try to bring you hidden gems one way or another. So if you're down in the Miami, South Florida area and looking for a unique experience and want to get out on the water, visit Biscayne National Park. It is 95% water, but you can get out there because of this park's really cool programs that are very affordable. That boat ride was only $15. I also left a nice tip for the captain and first mate because they did a great job. Thank you guys again for joining me. I will see you next time with another adventure, and until then, as always, stay enthused. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. And while you're driving around Biscayne National Park, watch out for crab crossing. Give crabs the right of way. I like how he's just slowly slinking away back to the water.